Martin Luther King Jr. was a Baptist minister and civil rights activist who played a key role in the American civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. He was born on January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, to Martin Luther King Sr. and Alberta Williams King. King received his bachelor's degree in 1948 and his doctorate of philosophy in 1955, both from Boston University. He became a minister at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama, and it was there that he began his work as a civil rights activist. In 1955, King led the Montgomery Bus Boycott, a campaign to protest segregation on public buses. This campaign was sparked by the arrest of Rosa Parks, an African-American woman who refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white person. The boycott, which lasted for over a year, ended with a Supreme Court ruling that segregation on public buses was unconstitutional. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, King continued to lead peaceful protests and boycotts in an effort to bring about change. He organized the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, a civil rights organization, and led the Birmingham Campaign in 1963, a series of protests and boycotts in Birmingham, Alabama, that aimed to end segregation in the city. In 1964, King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to bring about peace and equality through nonviolence. That same year, he helped to organize the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, a massive demonstration in the nation's capital. It was at this march that King delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
This speech is perhaps the most famous and iconic speech given by Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement. It was delivered on August 28, 1963, at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. In this speech, King spoke about his dream of a world where people of all races could live together in harmony, free from discrimination and segregation. He eloquently spoke about the injustice and inequality faced by African Americans, and he called on the nation to live up to its ideals of liberty and justice for all. One of the most famous lines from the speech is, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." The "I Have a Dream" speech was a powerful and influential moment in the civil rights movement, and it helped to galvanize support for change. It is still remembered and celebrated today as a powerful example of the power of words to bring about change. Despite his efforts to bring about change through peaceful means, King faced significant opposition and violence. He was arrested numerous times, and his home was bombed. On April 4, 1968, King was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee, while supporting a strike by sanitation workers. King's death was a devastating blow to the civil rights movement, but his message and legacy lived on. His work helped to bring about significant change, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, and ensured the right to vote for African Americans, respectively. Today, Martin Luther King Jr. is remembered as a hero and a symbol of the civil rights movement. His message of nonviolence and love continues to inspire people all over the world, and his work has had a lasting impact on the fight for civil rights and social justice.